Good evening, Internet. You are watching the Non-Pro TV Party Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show. Hooray!
Woo! We're back!
Yeah, I'm your host, Frank, joined not at all in studio by James and Matt, and possibly guests. How you guys doing?
Great.
What are you guys doing?
Well, you go first, James.
I'm waiting eagerly for 40 minutes for Game of Thrones to start. We just finished watching all of the previous season, as we do every premiere day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to watch it together as a group. All my friends are in the other room wondering why I'm sitting in here alone on a computer.
All your friends are?
Well, except for you guys, who are also sitting alone on computers.
Sure. So you watch things other than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? That's a shame.
I mean, some of those other things I watch are also good. So.
Some of them. Yeah, some things I watch are just terrible. God, I hate them. Yeah. All right. Thank you. And Matt, you have some strange things in your face.
Well,
away from you.
Well, today I'm kind of in a celebratory mood because it is my birthday today.
Hooray! Let's do a subpar show.
Happy birthday, Matt!
Oh, yay!
So
Yay,
that's
birthday.
well, I'm here wearing this lovely little hat.
The shame hat.
Yes. All right. So let's get to serious business right now. We have a ton of things to go over. We actually missed 3 episodes to review, and we're gonna have to get right into it. This is episodes, I think, was 14, 15, and 16 in our synopsis.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are important. Who wants to set us through what happened in the last few episodes? Anybody want to go first? James, do you remember you recently?
I just actually yesterday watched all 3 of them straight through in a row.
Okay.
So I think I feel like I'm ready.
All
so
right.
we pick up basically with I'm going to call them Democratic S.H.I.E.L.D. Right?
Okay.
Democratic S.H.I.E.L.D. is worried that their situation has been compromised because they have Hunter in their captivity and they're basically deciding what to do with him.
Right.
When he escapes, they decide it's time to move in. Democratic S.H.I.E.L.D. moves in and goes against Coulson S.H.I.E.L.D. and they go in for a takeover. Meanwhile, Skye is put out of active duty by being sent away to a luxury S.H.I.E.L.D. holding facility. We can call it Banner's old house. And that's where she kind of waits out this takeover. So the takeover happens, and there's various, whether characters are okay, comfortable with it, trying to find out where everybody stands. Meanwhile, May goes in like a badass and frees Coulson and sends him on his way. So now we have a Coulson-Hunter team-up as they go looking for Skye. But Skye has been taken by our friend, the teleporting man, to the Inhuman Society. We don't really know they're Inhumans yet, but I mean, that's what they are. Right. To the Inhuman Society, where she's getting an education on this, the existence of the Inhumans all throughout history.
Right. And I think the only plot you may have missed, or the 2, would be Fitz and Simmons, and their ever-increasing tension between the 2 of them. And the fact that we have both S.H.I.E.L.D. parties at odds.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ward and Agent 36?
33.
33 are back, and their relationship's super creepy, but super interesting.
All right. So which one are we going to deal with first? I think the easiest thing to deal with, because it's got the least amount of stage time, would be Ward and Agent 33.
I agree.
All right. Creepy. Super creepy.
Yeah.
There's something about... I don't buy the whole Ward is... like a recovering psychopath. I definitely, I've heard of people saying, oh, I don't know why Ward is all, sane now and rational. I'm like, that's not sane and rational. He said that he dealt with his family. They had a good talk. That's not what happened. He's crazy.
He murdered them.
Yeah, he's
and then,
beyond.
And then helping have someone else deal with their problems was torturing that person. And they also kidnapped a person to help him work on the face thing, and they killed that person. They're murderous.
There's a lot of murder.
Yeah.
A lot of murder. I don't know what happened to me, why I got so much shorter than it was a few seconds ago. But, yeah, so I think I'd like it, though. Like, it's bad, but I can acknowledge that it's creepy bad, and, like, it's cool to see what they're doing with this Ward character. Because I'd rather not lose him. I don't want to not follow him at all, but I also don't want him shoehorned into the story. Spoiler alert for what happens in 2 episodes.
I think I like it just because I think Ward's like the biggest surprise out of this show, particularly from season 1. I just, I feel like there were so many cliched things they could have done, and this is still more or less following that pattern of giving him interesting, complex relationships without being like, I'm going to fix Ward up in a nice tight bow.
Yeah. Overall, I like Talbot coming back as a guest character. I like Talbot and Coulson's relationship now. I kind of like the fact that they're like, all right, promise me you'll get him in. They have a working relationship. That's pretty awesome. I like that. There's pretty much I found that episode to be pretty strong up through the end. There's nothing. I have no issues with it, and I appreciate that there is no easier way, perhaps no better way, to dealing with it. It's a problem when your cast isn't all in the same place.
Yeah.
It's an issue that they get a lot, and I feel like they did a good job of handling. I'm glad I waited a few episodes before I saw what was going on with Ward.
Agreed.
Any other particular highlights from that storyline or those episodes? Or lowlights?
A couple of my highlights from that episode, especially with Ward. I think this is probably one of my favorite exchanges in the season so far, is when 33 goes, but you seem so well adjusted, and Ward's like, yeah. I think that emasculates Ward completely, and kind of it almost seems kind of meta on how people view Ward, and how they quote unquote seem like he's being redeemed, and how people are either trying to hope for or fearing for some kind of Ward redemption arc, but then they I think I mentioned on Twitter, they seem like they hint at some kind of Ward redemption, then they just double down on the creepy. I mean, the whole entire 33 taking Sky's face, that whole entire scene, I was cringing uncontrollably, but I had this huge grin on my face because it was horribly creepy, but it was just very it was a very cool direction to take that. Just really show how messed up that relationship is.
So let's examine 2 aspects of that. One is him refusing to be with Simulacrum Sky, and even saying, "Listen, I'm not crazy. I know she doesn't like me." I'm not crazy is ridiculous, but actually, I'm one of those people that's a little afraid. I think you could earn a redemption. I don't think he's unredeemable. Maybe, but it would take a long time. It would take a lot of storytelling to do it, and even then, it would be arguable whether he's actually redeemed or whatever. I mean, I just think it's possible. I just don't want to see it happen in an episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things where it's oh, look, they're doing it. He's aware of the fact that he was in an unhealthy place with Sky before. That's a redemption move. But then within a few seconds, talking about his family, and he's all pretending as if that had just worked itself out.
I don't think it's pretend. I think he actually believes it. He believes he dealt with his family in the best way possible. I really think he believes himself.
Yeah, I think he filed off the edges of that story for her sake, but it was basically, I dealt with it. That's creepy.
Yeah.
But that I like. I like that they bring it back to the creep.
Yeah.
I've been pining for some Hulk stories in S.H.I.E.L.D., and I really do like the fact that the house that Banner built is a place where you can keep someone who's going crazy and has lots of powers. Does anyone want to talk about that sequence, or the fact that Sky was separated from S.H.I.E.L.D.?
So I think the main point of tension here, at least for me as a viewer, is I'm just not sure anyone knows how to deal with Sky. And I think that is truly the thing. I think Coulson's group is having difficulty dealing with it because they're fighting the fact that she's their friend and what they're supposed to be doing. I think Democratic S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing just like old S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, which is no good because we know that that doesn't end up well. And then we realize, I thought things were going to be hunky-dory when we got to the Inhuman City, but even they don't seem to know what to do with Skye. It seems like obviously their intake of new members is incredibly controlled, and somebody coming in and saying, I'm the new person, surprise, isn't going great with them either. So I think for me, that's the key question S.H.I.E.L.D. needs to answer for a universe that has so many super powered people. They seem to be pretty terrified of them.
Yeah, well, reasonably so, I think.
I guess.
I mean, it's not like she's just a minority there's like slurs about. She has the ability to level a city. It's well, potentially, like, I mean, she could create earthquakes. I don't agree with the fact that I don't even know calling them Democratic S.H.I.E.L.D., but New S.H.I.E.L.D., Real S.H.I.E.L.D.
Real S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's the way they refer Obama S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that they are. I think the good tension in the show right now is between the two S.H.I.E.L.D.s and the two dynamics. I'm mostly in favor of Real S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know if this is gonna like break friendships here.
Which is Real S.H.I.E.L.D.?
The one that they refer to themselves as Real S.H.I.E.L.D.
Really?
Not Coulson's S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. I think they're right. I think they're mostly right.
Ideally, I would like some sort of union between the two. I actually think Real S.H.I.E.L.D. is mostly right too. I think what's weird about them is when they were like, oh, there's another group of S.H.I.E.L.D. operating out here. Coulson reached out and tried to bring in other people to his operation. They didn't.
Well, no, I don't think so. First of all, Matt, do you want to kill either of us? Because it seems like you're like, all right, two people who need to be gunned for. Is that okay? Is that acceptable that we're in? Should we defend Real S.H.I.E.L.D. more before? Would you like to hear my argument?
Yeah, I'll definitely hear because I'm curious to see because I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna go along with a little bit of James and with you, Frank. So let's hear what everybody has to say.
In my opinion, all right. So the wonderful episode. It was a little inexplicable why they would be like Secret S.H.I.E.L.D. Although I totally thought that was one of the options. I thought it was going to be Fury S.H.I.E.L.D. or Maria Hill or whatever. But it turned out to be like this other group of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. And where Coulson goes out recruiting and trying to bring people in, they went out and secured assets, sure, and they did what made sense. They're investigating. They put in sleeper agents, not sleeper agents. They put in covert agents. They're a covert agency to figure out who's a Hydra member or not. Like, what happens in the cinematic universe is, for the most part, like, there is a large-scale whitewashing after Hydra is revealed. Like, it's suddenly like, oh, all right, well, 50% of our armed forces, or this particular agency, turned out to be evil. They turned out to be Nazis. But, like, there's no consequence to it. That one episode where we actually keep getting flashbacks to actual consequences, what it felt like to be on the boat, finding out, like, how everybody, like, almost everyone you ran into could potentially be an enemy, and your friend, long-term friends, and people dying in front of you. Like, I feel like they're completely justified in thinking Coulson may not be, and his people may not be trustworthy.
Mm.
Yeah, and that, for me, I think it makes perfect sense for an intelligence agency to seek intelligence on whether or not they were corrupt. And even now, if you look at all the stuff that they gathered on Coulson's team, it's reasonable to be suspicious. I'm not saying that it's reasonable to kill them all and let God sort it out, and that's not what they did. There was a lot of attempt to make this other S.H.I.E.L.D. agency appear maybe a little, like parts of them, a little bit too enthusiastic, but I think we're only saying that because we have yet to find out there are other secret Hydra members amongst Coulson's team. Like, May hasn't turned. That kind of stuff. I think they're legit. I think that's reasonable. I think that's a good. I think they're the right ones. I think they're in the right.
Fight you? I don't know. I like that the Shield is being run as a democracy. I like that as a group of people making decisions. I think that's the thing that really hinders Coulson's team. Is we went from Coulson working with his group as a group to Coulson kind of calling the shots and keeping secrets. But I don't necessarily think that look, I don't buy it. I don't buy it 100%. I get you're saying that they're a covert secret organization, but I don't buy the suspicion. Or strangely enough, it's look, if they weren't found out, Bobby's goal wasn't to move in, it was to steal Fury's toolbox.
Yeah.
It wasn't about incorporating this group, it was about finding out what information Fury had. That's concerning to me. To me, it's a little too singular, not bigger picture, even though they're working with this democracy, this idea that speaks to them having S.H.I.E.L.D. as a bigger picture idea. You know what I'm saying?
I think if Edward Snowden was on Real S.H.I.E.L.D's panel, you'd be a little bit more understanding of why they want that box.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really what it stands for. Like, if you have to like get out of body a little bit and just see what they're seeing from their perspective, and from their perspective, it's like, what's his name? Fury is a jackass. He held a lot of secrets. He endangered the world. I don't know. I'm not saying that they're 100% correct. I'm just saying that like they're far more. It isn't as black and white because it is clear that they have something to say that's of value.
And that's what I love about it, because I don't think Coulson's acting anywhere near rational either. I'm totally not on board with his calling Deathlock and going in guns a-blazing. Like, this is a terrible idea. Like, this is not how you negotiate from a point of power.
Matt, do you have any opinions on any of this?
I definitely agree with points from both sides. I do believe that Real S.H.I.E.L.D. They're definitely trying to do the right thing, and I think they're trying to do it in a way that would be considered right. But I think it kind of fails in the way all organizations fail, where like you start seeing cracks in the perfect system. I mean, you have that one agent going with live ammo against Sky. And when Bobby brought that up with Gonzalez, Gonzalez like called Sky literally he calls her a thing, and just kind of waves off like they were going in to kill her.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see where the Real S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson S.H.I.E.L.D. relationship goes. I do hope that Real S.H.I.E.L.D. sticks around and maybe not join together, but I do kind of enjoy both sides existing, and I think it's a nice hint towards working our way to Civil War, because lots of stuff that they're bringing up, I feel like that's probably going to be major points of contention when they get to the Civil War arc.
Right. All right, we're going to have to push through a couple more points. I feel like I might as well bring up a one that I actively dislike, the Inhumans. I mean, I think a lot of what's going on with the Inhumans is mysterious and interesting. I like the resort. I like Skye learning her powers. That's fine. But I think in the most recent episode is when we have the most amount of time with them. And it is, to me, it feels like too many characters, too short of time, way too much is happening, and it's finally feeling completely disjointed. Like, I haven't felt that in S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while, despite the fact that many of our pieces are separated, with Coulson and Hunter on one thing and May somewhere else, and arguably Fitz and Simmons separated, and all the new Sky people from Season 2 kind of separated. There's way too many pots on the burner, and I do not like it. And the Inhumans just added completely new people, and the only ones I had like the focus on was a little bit of Sky, a little bit of Raina, a little bit of her dad. I feel like that was the weakest part of the last few episodes.
I'll disagree. I really don't. I haven't seen a point which the ball balancing. To me, I'm still invested. I don't have like too many balls in the air. I think the next episode or two is going to be key to tell whether they do or not. But right now, I don't feel too disjointed. I'm still streamlined enough that I know what's going on and I don't feel spread out.
James is drinking the Kool-Aid. What about you, Matt?
I'm gonna say I'm optimistic. I want to go along with what James believes, but I also see where Frank is going. It's kind of like what I had in season 1 with too many balls in the air. I thought they had too many things with like we didn't know it was Hydra. We had all the different players before the Hydra reveal. So I know that I totally understand why that might be a concern. I do think that is still to be worried about, but I'm thinking that they'll get things organized, kind of like what they started to do with season 1, all the different factions, bring everybody together and make everything make sense. I'm still not sure about this new guy they introduced, like Sky's mentor yet / new romantic interest. I'm still on the fence about him.
Jeez, Matt, he could just be a friend. You don't have to ship them this fast.
Hey man, Chloe Bennett was already shipping them together on Twitter like during the episode live, so right. I'm going with what the actors say. But really, I think it was really cool that what's the deal with Sky's mom?
Oh my gosh, I was so excited about that. I love the actress, and awesome. Like, that was such a great reveal. Like, I felt like...
Yeah.
I feel like I've been enjoying the reveals, but if out of the 3 episodes, that's the one. That was the one that got me.
That was my least favorite reveal.
You're the worst, Frank.
There was so much, like, pathos, and there's so much, like, hinged upon... I don't like it when a character dies just to give other characters motivation. Like, that's not necessarily good, but this is not a character that died. This is just an element of a backstory. This would be like finding out that Bruce Wayne's mother survived. You'd be like, oh, all right, I guess, sure. If you really need to belabor a very basic archetype, the character is, orphaned, and I don't know. It just didn't. It felt like it was just. I have nothing against the actress at all. I'm surprised she got some lines. I think she's a big Whedon actress. I think she's in other Whedon projects, which is cool. But yeah, I can't imagine it. It would all these new characters. All they say to me is like, "That's a few minutes more time I'm gonna have to spend with you. That's a few more minutes I'm gonna have to spend with you in an episode. That's a few more minutes." Like, each time you add that, it's less time to do anything, and I'm really unhappy with that pacing. And part of that might be because I just finished watching the latest episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. after I had already started watching Daredevil.
Well, I just want to add one more thing about that whole entire Sky's mother reveal, because I feel like we're going to be wrapping up a little bit of Daredevil discussion. But I think there could be a lot of interesting things to do. I think we could play more into a lot more of the idea of secrets amongst the different groups on the show, because it felt like Cal was pretty familiar with her when they were talking at the end. Like, he knew, and it was actually brought up to me that near when Cal was first introduced, one of his lines was he wants to reunite with his family in Afterlife, which is what they call the Inhuman City.
Oh.
So that would be... So that's kind of interesting if he knew about it all the time, but was willingly lying to his daughter.
Right.
I was going to say the same thing that Matt said. I didn't actually pick up on that, but I was going to say, just the way the pieces fell with her being alive, looking back at a whole bunch of stuff Cal and Whitehall and everybody did, it made so much sense to me. I guess that's what excited me.
I guess so. I'm not going to argue it. I won't belabor it. I won't fight it. But I think my point is pretty valid.
Yeah.
All right. So that big tragic, horrible. Oh my God, vivisection. Vivisection is still a pretty horrible thing to do to someone, I guess. But surviving it, and then it's a little wonky. I like the cameo from Mike Peterson. Let's start calling him Deathlock.
Yep.
It's one of the things that a
Definitely.
lot of people have a pet peeve about in comic books TV shows. This is a simple one you could just get rid of because nobody really cares that much, in my opinion. And otherwise, I do kind of like the Fitzsimmons arc. I like how they're fighting each other and then they're kind of working together. I think it's a pretty good tempo. I think they're doing pretty well.
Fitz is down flat my favorite character on the show.
100%.
100%. I can worlds farther than any other character.
And I do kind of like how I was surprised that they were able to get the audience to start turning on Simmons with her changes in character, but like they start turning her back when she starts showing that like she still cares about Fitz, and apparently she does care about Sky. So it's really nice, good character development for both.
They don't overdo it. They did not overdo the storyline. They didn't immediately turn one into a heel and then keep her there or there, whatever. Yeah, I like it. Daredevil is amazing.
Definitely. I've been
How far is
loving
everybody?
Only episode 3.
Oh, all right. So I love just a little thing, just to tie in with S.H.I.E.L.D. I like the fact that Battle of New York has like a whole nother side to it. It's amazing how I keep forgetting this is the same universe. It totally fits, but it's also completely different. I like comic book television. I love it. I love the first season of Arrow. I love what I'm seeing so much of Flash. I actually really like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I think the writing is really good, and I think the way the elements piece together is better than the other big companies' shows. For the most part, I think that's true. I think some of like other properties kind of like they're more like soap opera-y, and they don't necessarily like, there's a lot of forcing people's craziness. Like people act way out of character just temporarily. They'll randomly decide to run for mayor just because, oh, that's a plot element. You know, like it doesn't feel as natural. But I think S.H.I.E.L.D. does a very good job. And then I saw Daredevil, which is basically like so far it's like a 12-hour movie.
It's great.
And then just diced up. It's very good. It's very cool. I'm excited. I think this is good. I'll keep watching S.H.I.E.L.D. of course. I hate the fact that I even have to define that. But yeah. Well, no, I think like I'm beginning to see some of the problems people have had in the past. I just don't like. I like ensemble shows. Don't go through the. Please don't give us the secret of the week, mysteries being kept from each other for no reason other than mystery keeping, and keeping your ensemble cast miles away, which it doesn't look like they're going to do. Apparently, Ward is coming back into the fold at some point.
I think everybody's going to be converging in the next couple episodes. We're already getting pretty close to the finale, so.
Yeah.
All right. So just in case we get this cut out of the episode, it is a special day today. It is a certain someone's birthday, so we're going to sing happy birthday to that person.
Oh, no.
All right. So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday. Really?
James, you go to hell! That's for disagreeing with me on something that may be cut out of this broadcast. Happy birthday, man! Woo!
Thank you, guys.
All right, enjoy whatever it is that you're doing. What was it again, James?
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones marathon. You're having a TV party during our TV party.
Exactly.
Think about that.
All the way down.
All right, good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night.